Hello, witches, light beings, people of Earth. Today I'm here to talk to you about the five sacred elements. How exciting! So, for those who don't know me, I'm Kai Cox. I'm a spiritual mentor and intuitive alchemist. I like to hold space for people to realize their transformations and bring new awarenesses. And I really find that the five sacred elements help and impact our everyday life. So, you've definitely heard of this before, I'm sure, right? It's from all different cultures, backgrounds. What I am following is the occultic tradition, where the five elements are earth, air, fire, water, and spirit. Of course, spirit is amongst all of these elements. It's the one that weaves through and connects all. Very important. So let's dive right in. We are going to start with Earth. Yay! The thing that we ground to, the thing that makes us a part of this world. So, Earth can be represented in the physical, tangible form with salt, sand, a small plotted, potted plant, a stone, anything that really just feels like earth to you. And this can be something that you ground into, right? So, why you would want to have these tangible objects is maybe for an altar or to really connect in. Let's say you're about to do a grounding meditation and you want to be holding a stone. It's a great way to ground in, invoke the earth element. Okay, now there's air. Air is all about communication. It is the words said between others. It is thinking, and we connect through it through incense, feathers, and flowers. So, again, this is something you can bring to your altar. You can carry around you. If you want to be a more effective communicator, have a feather, bring it with you. If you're doing some kind of presentation, have a feather. I mean, I always bring in all five elements, but if you're just starting with this or air really speaks to you right now, you can carry a feather in your pocket. You can ask your spirit team to show you feathers, right? We can do that with earth just as well. Show me pebbles on my walk. You connect into your spirit team for your highest good and your highest good only, and they can bring you these elements just like you can bring them to your altar or your presentation or whatever you're doing throughout your day. Maybe you're simply having a conversation with your loved one and you want to make sure that the communication is effortless. Well, let's also make sure it's grounded then too, right? Bring a stone and a feather and just be in that moment. So now let's talk about fire, the passion, the driving force, the thing that creates change. Sometimes it's feared, but it doesn't have to be. A great way to represent this is a candle, a match. Um, you can, of course, have this on your altar. Don't ever leave a candle unattended. Just don't do it if it's burning. um, but such a great way to bring passion to what you're doing. Invoke that passion in yourself. Okay, and the next element, water. Oh, water, our emotions, the way we process through things. Water is so sacred and it helps us move, it helps us expand. Ways we can represent this on our altar are small dishes of water, a shell, breathing into it, right? How do we invoke this for yourself? These are some ideas, some elements you can try. The occultic tradition keeping these, but play with it, right? Maybe you want to have a dish of water and sand, and that to you is water and earth, or it's just water. That's totally fine. There is no right or wrong here. This is just an idea, a starting point for you to explore. Now, I like to place these in different directions in the occultic tradition so that we can really invoke them. So in our north, that is earth. So if you are feeling ungrounded, maybe go to the north part of your home. How easy is that? Take some breaths, hold a stone, hold some sand, some salt, a potted plant, ground in. You can, of course, always go outside. Maybe you go to the north part of your property. Maybe you just simply be in dirt and feel the ground in. And then to the east, we have the air and communication. So if you're having a communication with someone, maybe you go to the east part of the room. Maybe you feel through that. I have my computer with me with my back on the east so that I can communicate forward. Have that standing behind me, that presence behind me, so that I can communicate that easily and effortlessly. In the south is the fire. So once again, back to my room. My desk is centered in the room, slightly off towards the east and towards the south, so that I can know all that I am doing is from passion. I can be invoking passion with the words I say. So maybe in the south part of your home, this is where you create. Maybe this is where you go to draw, doodle, whatever speaks to you to get that flame burning bright so that you can shine. And then the west. The west is water. It's easy to remember, W and W. So this is where you can go to feel your emotions. Maybe you're feeling a little blocked. Maybe we can go there. Have a nice, comfy place to sit in the west part of your house where you can feel those emotions. You can process through them so that you know that you're in a state of rebalancing and ease in flow. So then I said, spirit is mixed throughout all of these, right? So if it's like a compass, it's the connector between them all. And I like to represent this with light. So a physical light, right? Outside of that candle. I like to have a light in the middle of my room so that I'm always reminded that I'm moving with spirit on my team. I am spirit having a human experience. Breathing into this, how does this feel to you? Do you connect into these 5 elements or do you go with a different tradition? Because there are different elements for different traditions and you get to decide what is right for you. I remember when I was setting out on this quest for myself a few years ago, and I thought there had to be one right answer. Well, guess where I got that from? That's from the system we go through that we call school, right? Teacher has answer, I get answer from teacher, there's one right answer. No more. We're releasing this. Yes, you might have went through that system. Maybe you didn't. It doesn't really matter. We're releasing this. We no longer seek that information from the outside. So when I finally stepped back and was like, okay, here's what's presented to me, what resonates with my soul? What do I feel so passionately about that I want to share by bringing it into my life and seeing how it fits? And if it does fit well, how do I want to share it with others? And that's how I'm coming to you today, because this has done such wonders for me. When I'm clearing a home, I bring the 5 elements in. I set them up in with a compass so that I clearly know, this feels right, this feels good. Let's clear. Invoke those 5 elements so that we can come back to this balancing state. I also have incorporated these 5 elements into my brewing intuition, right? How can we really ground into these? So we ground in with earth and we talk and we feel through air and water, and we come forth with our passion, our play. There is so much you can be doing with this. You can also think of it as The reverse. Let's say you're a very sensitive person and you're going to have a conversation where you don't want to get oversensitive. You don't want to feel too far into these emotions. You want to stay somewhat level. Then don't be in the West for that conversation. Have that awareness. Um, if you're done communicating, if it's okay, I need a break from this conversation, move out of the East. Do this for yourself. Noticing that just like a compass, there are, um, north and south, right? They're opposites from each other. Okay, so maybe if I'm not feeling the passion, maybe I'm too grounded into my human experience and I need to just set a spark, walk away, and have passion come through me more easily through that alternative, the opposite of ground. It's just something to play with. This is a starting point, and you get to decide for yourself. It's almost intimidating sometimes to realize that you have all of the answers, and the more answers you get, the more you realize you don't know anything. But it's also a fun place to play. So I invite you to play here. If this speaks to you, I'd love to hear from you. Let me know in the comments, which elements do you create with, and which ones do you connect with more easily? Which ones spark your soul? Which ones really find easy to ground into, right? Or however you interact daily with these different elements. If you like this information, I invite you to connect with me because this is what I love to do. I thank you for spending your time with me, and with love and magic, Kai Cox here, signing out.